Disney parks around the world are amazing. They've got lots of great rides and attractions that we all enjoy. We can check out many of these rides in almost every Disney park, but of course, each park has unique experiences also. So today, we'll talk about the unique rides we can find at the different Disney parks around the world. Radiator Springs Racers, Disney California Adventure.
Psst, hey, Lightning, when are the folks coming?
Really soon. Why are you whispering?
'Cause this whole place is super duper top secret. Hey, what's that button do?
Mater!
Holy spark plugs! This place is cool!
A whole new land is opening June 15th at Disney California Adventure Park. Test drive Radiator Springs Racers, Luigi's Flying Tires, and more. Cars Land. Get ready to be floored.
Turn them off, Mater!
We're good, nobody saw that.
Radiator Spring Racers is one of the best Disney attractions ever made. The ride opened back on June 15th, 2012, along with the rest of Radiator Springs, which is part of the Disney California Adventure multi-year expansion that was announced on October 17th, 2007. The attraction is an awesome track car that begins as a dark ride and ends with an awesome race through Ornament Valley. It is located at the end of Radiator Springs, right next to the courthouse where we enter the oldest part of town, Stanley's Oasis. We board a convertible race car, and off we go. We take a short and beautiful ride through the cliffs of Ornament Valley, where we see Willie's Butte and the Waterfalls Bridge, where we find amazing animatronics. First we see Mac, and crash into him, but we are able to avoid it. Then we almost crash into Minnie and Van, but thankfully we avoid that crash too. We swerve, and Sheriff appears. He warns us to slow down and to follow Mater to the race. Mater starts taking us into town, but not before taking us tractor tipping, where we anger Frank, who chases us off his farm. Suddenly we get to Radiator Springs, where we are greeted by the town. We can find Fillmore, Sarge, Red, Sally, and McQueen. Here we have two options. We can go to the left into Luigi's Casa de los Tires, where we get a change of wheels from Luigi. Or we can go to the right to Ramon's House of Body Art and get a fresh coat of paint. We see Doc Hudson just before we get to the starting line, where he introduces himself as the new crew chief. Then we find Luigi and Guido at the starting line, where we line up with our competitors. Luigi waves the flag and the race starts. We race out of the cave to some bunny hills and high bank turns around the rock formations of Ornament Valley. The ride randomly selects a car to win, and that car reached the finish line first. The ride ends with a short drive through Taillight Caverns, where we find McQueen and Mater again, congratulating both cars. The ride has a great story, has some amazing animatronics, and it's really fun. Sinbad Storybook Voyage, Tokyo Disney Sea. Sinbad Storybook Voyage is a pretty impressive dark ride at the Tokyo Disney Resort. The original version of this dark ride was called Sinbad 7 Voyages, and it opened on September 4th, 2001. This version was not very popular among guests because the ride had a very dark tone. It was pretty scary and unfriendly. So, in late 2006, it closed to be reimagined. The new version of the ride opened on March 29th, 2007, and this version had become a very popular ride. Imagineers added a lighter mood, a cute tiger sidekick named Shantu, and a song written by Alan Menken called Compass of Your Heart. The ride has 162 impressive animatronics in total. The ride begins at Sinbad's Arabian home village in Baghdad, where the people of the village are wishing Sinbad and Shantu a safe journey. Just before entering a tunnel, three wise men give warning to dangerous weather. We pass through the tunnel and get to a rainstorm where we can see Sinbad's broken ship and two mermaids that save Sinbad from the storm. He gets a new ship and gets to Rock Island, where he has to stop some pirates who are attacking the magical rock birds. Sinbad and Shantu succeed and take one of the bird's magical feathers to the Cave of the Giant, where they find the giant locked inside a cell, peeking out from the small window. Sinbad uses the feather to unlock the cell and free the giant. In the next scene, we can find the giant singing with Sinbad, thanking him for his freedom by gifting him his gold. Sinbad continues with his adventures and arrives in the Sultan's palace, where the Sultan asks him to save the village that's been overtaken by monkeys. Sinbad leaves for the village, where he finds the monkeys and proceeds to use his magic drum to calm them down. The monkeys join in and promise to leave the village. Sinbad starts his journey back to the village and finds a giant whale who helps him get there sooner. He arrives safely at home and shares everything he found during his voyage with the whole village. Thankfully, the ride was changed to become what it is today. Mystic Manor, Hong Kong Disneyland. Mystic Manor is Hong Kong Disneyland Resort's version of the Haunted Mansion. The ride opened on May 17, 2013, and it tells the story of Henry Mystic and his monkey friend Albert. Lord Mystic toured the world collecting treasures when he came upon an enchanted music box that is said to bring any inanimate object to life. Before we enter the ride, we can see Albert, where he tells us the legend of the music box. Then we board Lord Mystic's latest and greatest invention, magnificent Mystic Magno-electric carriages that will whisk us into the manor and through the priceless artifacts stored there. We begin the ride in the acquisitions and cataloging room, where Lord Mystic comes in. He mentions the music box and tells us that he is looking for Albert. He leaves and Albert comes in. He can't control his curiosity and, of course, unlocks the box. Magic dust escapes the box and floats into the air, bringing the artifacts to life. We enter a music room, where the magic dust gives life to instruments and music begins to play. Then we go into the Mediterranean Antiques room, where paintings, ceramics, and statues also move and come to life. We then enter the Solarium room, where Albert is toying with some Venus flytraps holding a piece of banana to them. Soon afterward, the carriage enters the Slavic Nordic chamber, where there is a Russian painting with a young girl picking flowers of a tree. She comes to life and blows freezing wind towards us. In the arms and armor room, there are many weapons and armors coming to life, and even threatening Albert. We continue through a hall where 3 suits of armor are singing along with the music. This takes us to the Egyptian Antiques room, where we see a sarcophagus and some tablets of Egyptian gods. We reach the Hall of Tribal Arts, where 3 tiki statues aim and throw arrows and darts at Albert. The last room we enter is the Chinese Salon, where a large jade Sun Wukong statue is brought to life, and uses its staff to create a tornado, making the room spin and causing all the tapestries in the salon to shake. We start circling the room during this scene until Albert appears. The jade monkey tries to hit him with a lightning bolt, but this only blows a portion of the wall. Albert finds the box and takes it back to the acquisitions and cataloging room again, where he closes it and turns everything back to normal. Lord Mystic appears again, happy to find Albert and asks him if he touched the box. Of course, Albert denies, and our adventure is over. The ride's effects, animatronics, and fun story make it one of the best rides ever. Roaring Rapids, Shanghai Disneyland. Shanghai Disneyland is one of the most technologically advanced parks in the world. Almost every ride is filled with lots of technological marvels, and that is the case of Roaring Rapids. Roaring Rapids is a wild, out-of-control ride that ends with an encounter with a mythological mountain guardian. In this ride, we set out to find the source of the mysterious, echoing roars that can be heard behind the falls in Abu Taku Mountain. The ancient Abori people say that the source is the ancient crocodile guardian, Quarog, who protects the waterways from those who would do Adventure Isle harm, but the League of Adventures say that this is all mythological nonsense. So we go explore, and as you might expect, it is not. While we're on the expedition, a fallen tree diverts the river into a collapsed lava tube, where one of the most impressive and astounding animatronics ever lies in wait. As the raft drifts into its rocky chamber, it turns to assess the noise, its glowing eyes narrowing in range. The Guardian huffs and sniffs, then thrusts itself forward, ambushing us as the raft drifts helplessly closer. Close enough to feel its misty, humid breath, we have to duck wildly as the crocodile snaps foot-long, razor-sharp teeth. Naturally, we manage to just barely escape the creature's jaws as the raft races down a lava tube and into the geyser springs in the mountain shadow. Crush Coaster, Walt Disney Studios Park. Crush Coaster is a spinning roller coaster that opened in Walt Disney Studios Park at the Disneyland Paris Resort on June 9, 2007. As soon as this ride opened, it became one of the most popular attractions in the park. Most of the ride is indoors, so it's kind of a mix between a roller coaster and a dark ride. We arrive at the Sydney Harbor, where we climb aboard turtle shells that will take us to our undersea adventure. We first dive into the ocean, where we are taken to the Great Barrier Reef. Here we meet Nemo and Squirt. We continue our journey moving past some glowfish on our way to the dark depths of the ocean. Suddenly, we get to the sunken submarine completely surrounded by jellyfish. Inside the submarine, we meet Bruce, Chum, and Anchor. We are able to escape the sharks, and here's where the second part of the ride begins. The coaster takes us through the spiraling East Australian current. We move quickly through the current for a while until we find Crush, and we're back to the Sydney Harbor. This ride looks super fun. It's no wonder why the ride is one of guests' favorites. Avatar Flight of Passage, Disney's Animal Kingdom. Avatar Flight of Passage is one of the 2 amazing attractions at Pandora World of Avatar, which we can only find in Animal Kingdom at the Walt Disney World Resort.
Come, visit a world where you can walk under floating mountains. Take the flight of your life on the back of a banshee. And navigate a mystical river. A world beyond belief. Pandora, the world of Avatar. Only at Disney's Animal.
This ride takes an impressive 3D augmented reality simulator that takes us flying on a banshee through Pandora. The ride is set 100 years after the events of the movie, where the humans in Na'vi are attempting to restore the banshee population to natural levels, after the mining tactics caused by the Resources Development Administration. So, Alpha Centauri Expeditions, or ACE, has reactivated the Avatar program through the Pandora Conservation Initiative, as a method of conducting research and allowing us to ride a banshee and take part in a Na'vi tribal coming-of-age tradition. Before entering the ride, we get to see waterfalls, bridges, and the floating mountains. Then we enter a cave where the banshees are honored in paintings on the cavern walls. We also go into the lab where we see all the research Ace is doing into water purification, habitat restoration, and the wider Pandora ecosystem, and an awesome avatar suspended in a tank. For a moment, you might think it's just an ordinary prop, but if we take a closer look, we can see that it is actually a pretty complex animatronic that simulates some involuntary movements of the monitor system, like little ticks in its hands, feet, tail, and even full body. We enter the ride, we're linked to our avatars, and off we go. Should Disney bring these rides to other parks? Or should they stay exclusive? You can ride these if you start planning your next magical vacation. Our friends at PixieVacations.com will help you plan your perfect vacation to Disneyland, Disney World, or a Disney cruise specifically tailored to your vacation style and budget. And working with a Pixie is completely free. So talk with them to make the best out of your Disney vacation. See you next time!